Are we live? Cool. Anyway, hi, second channel. I don't think this is gonna be a main channel video. I'll probably show the results in the main channel. I used to watch her when she live streamed as her own human self. That's Suri. This video, we are digging through some boxes. I need a good one. Are you a good one? Actually, you know what? No, you're not a good one. It needs to be fiber optic splitter. I need a fiber optic splitter. So this might be, oh, there you go. Again, not sure if this is a good one. USB power, which is a USB mini. Anyway, this video, I don't know how I titled it in the future, but I'm starting right now. Like within 10 seconds ago, I ran and grabbed the mini DSPs. I'm going to attempt to use two separate mini DSP HDs. Boom. To run the speaker system in the garage, which if you haven't seen that main channel video, all my USBs are separated, but not labeled. And so, okay, so now I need a source. I've temporarily need a source, so I'm probably just gonna use my phone. And to do that, I'm gonna use this. I've got the Ico Zerda, the original Zerda. Super unique piece of kit because it has fiber optic output. So now I have a USB-C to fiber optic in to a fiber optic splitter, which is on. I've got a power wire for this, so that now I don't know why there's a loop in it. Usually I put a loop in it if it's only power, but it's fine for this and not data. So now I need two more fiber optic cables, preferably short-ish ones. I think I have these like generic branded ones. 6-inch, I don't care if they're 6 feet. As long as they're the same and they're fiber optic cables. So now these will feed the mini DSPs. I have the power bricks. This is how I'm feeding them the same signal, because the way it's going to work is there's going to be a 4-way split on the left and right. I can't, because there's not enough channels. I need 8 channels, and the only way to have 8 channels is to have 2 mini DSPs. I need my laptop. I'm currently literally covered in. I brought my laptop down here. I need the laptop not to act as a source. This is what's going to actually connect to the mini DSP to be the data thing, which actually means I need another USB fucking mini for data. Try to find a nicer one than that. It's got a ballon on it. Ooh. That's a nice one. Okay, so now I can plug in, because I'm going to have to edit the mini DSPs individually, and I'm doing it not in place. I'll edit them like finally when I'm in place, but for now it's just going to be do whatever, brah. So, if the colors are all fucked up on this video, it's because I record in RAW mode essentially. And I have to basically pick which one I'm editing for. Yep. I'm gonna film a little bit on this table here. Actually, give me a second. I'm gonna plug everything in and then I'll be right back. All right, so best power supply, the Niklib, which has USB outputs, which I'm using to power that. And then I should turn it on. There we go. So it's got the plugs in the back and top and side. 2 mini DSP HDs. So these are the analog outputting ones. I'm gonna feed them digitally. I could feed them RCAs, just really make it simple. But if I could skip an analog to digital conversion process with this, I will do so. Let's take my phone out. My phone's gonna get plugged into the Zerda. That'll be acting as my music source. I'm doing it in my great room because it's nice and comfortable in here and not cold and in the garage. So the initial setup will all be done here. I'll take some guesses because the back of these have 4 outputs. And we could assume, well, the 4 outputs each. So horns on both sides, mid-range on both sides, 4 bass bins, 2 and 2. And these last 2, I'm going to be feeding into the OSD subwoofer that I reviewed up here, because that's going to be like the low end that I'm going to add onto that system. And then those top 6 are going to be split Fosse amp, Fosse amp, Fosse amp, Fosse amp, Fosse amp, Fosse amp. Well, actually, I need how many? I need 4 Fosse amps. There's 4 Fosse amps getting 6 channels because the bass bins are they're becoming mono essentially on either side. I don't need to control left and right and left and right. It's just going to be left and right. And then the subwoofer is actually going to be mono as well. It's just going to be, it's way harder to do that with like a summing circuit than to just plug 2 RCAs in. So now what I need to figure out, an update to SonarWorks. Boom, always update my SonarWorks because this is the laptop I use to program a lot of it. Download the 12 meg. What I need to see is if I have the mini DSP software. If I don't have the mini DSP software for programming these with the USB, I have to go get it. I have to log into my account and go get it. Install it. Why wouldn't you install it? Why aren't you installing it already? I love how it downloads it downloads a 12 meg install to update a 264 meg install. Like just do both. Do both. So let's see. Start M for mini. LM M M M M. I reinstalled this whole computer. So step 1. Log into my mini DSP account, download the software, which is the older software, which I don't like as much. I like it more than the new software, and I also don't like it as much. It has a little bit more limitations. Like you only get 9 milliseconds of delay between channels on this hardware. On the newer stuff, you get like 900 milliseconds of delay, like 10-folds everything. I won't be able to test this unless I bring up a little amplifier and hook it up left and right and then put headphones on. To just sort of like, okay, did the thing I just set work? Okay, does this sound like what the horn should sound like? Does this sound like what the mid-range should sound like? Does this sound what the bassman should sound like? Because I'm going to bring it all out to the garage with this, finish the programming, and I'm going to have to swap back and forth. It's going to be so fucking annoying. Because I don't think you could plug 2 of them in at the same time and use the software. It'd be great if you could have both, but you can't. It could have one on remote, but I'm using that remote. There's a mini DSP you could add on to remote, and I have that on one of the units in my basement behind the projection screen that controls the center channel setup and the subwoofer setup. Anyway, be right back. Gotta do things. Apparently I'm migrating because I haven't used these in a fucking hot minute, probably over 2 years since I've actually used them. So there's a migration note. So we're going to be doing an interesting full install and firmware upgrade. So this might actually have the newer software available for it. Like I wrote HD on that. We'll find out because this was written in February, but the drivers are like yesterday. It's insane. It's October some odd day, and the drivers came out like the 14th of 2023 of October. Okay, so I tried to launch the launcher. It was a separate install for that. It's now the mini DSP 2x4 Advanced. And as soon as I hit connect, I was like, get the .NET framework. So I did. So I'm restarting that, connecting to the system. Cannot connect to the system. First time retry, something's broken. Maybe this is not the right software. It did something weird, like this mitigation thing, this migration, not mitigation, migration. Because you go in here, and the way mini DSP works is you got to user downloads. So this should be everything you need to download for any of the devices you've purchased, and I've purchased these. So it's like the 2x4 and the 2x4 plugins and the 2x4 HD are the only ones I've got. And there's the DRAC systems, and there's the microphone system, and there's the USB audio drivers for the UDI-08s. Plugins for the CDSP, microphone array, power ice, open mini share, 282444 nano digi. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to download. Let me go to actual products. They still sell the 2x4 HD. The price has gone up here. It's $225 now. This used to be $250. There used to be a 2.4, which was like $100, and then the HD came out, and I think it was 200 or 170. So I'm trying to figure out which loading software. Specification support application notes. Let's see what application notes. Two-way cross. So let me try to figure out the DDRC24. What is that? It looks just like this. Is a USB DAC plus DSP room correction processor powered by DRAC. Oh, it's just a DRAC version of this. It's extra $200. The biggest issue, the biggest like awe, is the USB, which again is mini, can actually be used just as an audio device, and I wouldn't have to plug in any fiber optic. But that will only give me 4 outputs. And I need both of these to work it out. I've done it in my math. Like, if you're a normal person, you would have your left speaker, your right speaker, and then you could have up to 2 subs, or just tweeter, bass, and then have your subs just controlled separately. But it just doesn't work in my scenario. I need both of these. Both. So let me try to find the goddamn software to run my unit, because that one's just not connecting, and I'm gonna have to. I did have to do the upgrade on both individually. It's in pain. I'm dumb and they're dumb, because I just spent 20 minutes trying to figure out, because there's forum posts and they're talking about how they migrated everything over to this new software, and I'm in the forum and it's like, dear all, here's the thing, and I'm like, where's the fucking download? So the actual download. So you see this page that's for the 2.4 HD, new popular. See this big download button? That's not the download. That's a download to upgrade the firmware. The actual download is these 3 links here that say Windows 10, Mac and App, and Mac Intel. And it's I didn't read, but it should be like download and then be another download. So let's go and launch that other download. You can watch me install. I'm in F11 mode, which prevents you from hitting Alt and popping that down and going to downloads. Then we're going to double click the mini DSP device console. Close that. This did open, right? I hear my fans ramping up, so it's probably launching. There we go. So this, I've never used this before. This is going to be a whole new experience for you and me. And if it's good enough, if it does enough different, I may just re-review these, although it's kind of going to be what happens when I talk about the speaker setup, possibly moving that into the basement. Oh god, the EULA. It also is taking my choose a device, that one, update now. So the battery died perfectly as I did that, and I remember to bring up a second battery, so that's great. Firmware is completed, it reboots, it does not restart, please do the following. Unplug the unit from the computer, power cycle the unit, close the device console. Okay. So it's got to do a restart, so let's watch it. Hopefully there's some indication that it's doing things with that blue LED. I'm going to have to turn off my green theme. I hate when they make me do this. I hate it. I just want everything to be dark and green. Where's my themes? Go to fucking Windows light. I hate this. I hate it. Here it comes. Here. Actually, that didn't change much. We just have a thing. It's online. File. View. Actual size. I could full screen this. So we got rename, import, export, reset all, display versions. There's the MC was 1.5. Refresh DSP firmware, refresh XMOS firmware. Convert to DDRC24. I sure you want to swap this unit to a DDRC24? No. I don't even know what that does. I gotta go look up what the DDRC24 is, but apparently, because the way this works, internally, you could literally swap its functionality. Let's look up what the DDRC24 is. No, we're not on this anymore. We actually, can we just go back? Products. DDRC24. DDRC24. Same box. Room correction process. Oh, you could swap it to be the DRAC one. So it's the same thing, just Dirac. And I'm sure it'll be like, okay, you swapped it, now pay. So now what do I do? Like, where's all the stuff? Input source, select, analog, Toslink, USB. Because these have, oh, changing, failed to get changed. Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna hit disconnect. All right, there's device discover. So there it is, let's connect to it again. Oh, you know what? I have to power cycle it. All right, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to power cycle the unit, which requires you unplugging it because there's no power button. Plug that back in. Wait for the blue light. Wait for the blue light. Look at the cat. Blue light. Okay, now we're going to plug this in. What a nightmare this is going to be. I just know it. I don't want it to be a nightmare. It's gonna be though. I'm actually gonna pin this to the taskbar because I'm gonna use this shit a lot. Minimize that. Boom. Upgrade again. Performing DSP firmware upgrade. What? I never heard that in my life. I never heard that in my life. So all right, we're gonna let it update and update and update. And when I finally get it working, I'll come back and tell you what's going on because this is taking way too long. The sun is setting. DSP firmware completed, reboots. Okay, so now it's rebooting. So it rebooted it this time. It didn't actually go through this process last time. Okay, there we are. Serial number, ID. No saved settings for 2.4 HD have been found. Would you like to initialize default setup or disconnect? Initialize default setup. Turn off amplifier if you had it connected to an amplifier. For safety purposes, we're just turning off the amplifier until okay. Because it's probably gonna go pop. Writing to preset 3, saving preset values. So whatever I had these preset to last is just gonna be erased. I don't care. These things always show, oh, look at that. This is exciting. This is fun. My nipples are erect from the fun. So we have got outputs 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 are off. So here's our input meters. Let's get it to play music and we'll set our inputs. Fubar, Harold Faltmeyer. If I turn the volume up, it's not playing out of the phone speaker, which means it's playing out of this, hopefully. Oh, yep, we're seeing it there. So our input is Toslink. Preset 3 is selected. We now have full live consoles, which means all of my mini DSP chips should be on this now, which means, boys and girls, I get to go do this. If this doesn't suck, I'll go fuck around my home theater because my theater uses mini DSP stuff. My big theater, that's a UDI-08, which is just the USB to 8 Toslink? No, 4 Toslink because it's 8 channels. And then that goes into a DDRC 88D with bass control and Dirac. And that does all the actual mixing and mastering. But this is new. So we have everything listed here. We have, what does that do? I'm a little bit confused. There's 2 ons for output 1. There's on and then there's on. Oh, is it doing left and right channel, but not indicating it? That's weird. So what I would basically be doing with this, because there's 2 input, even though it's showing 2, I only need this particular mini DSP to be like left channel. So what I would do is I would just completely ignore, I have no idea how this works. This is gonna be so fucking weird. The gain is at 0. We can push it to -72 or +12. So we can actually push it past the limits, the limit check. Parametric equalization looks like, wow, that is so much nicer. You get the advanced mode. Changing mode will not convert frequency gain to biquads, which is kind of sad. But yeah, you get to literally, you get a big grab and fuck with it. Please tell me there's a way to reset this. Like reset, override. I don't think that's for, I'm hitting yes. I'm pretty sure that reset. Yeah, That reset resets everything. That is scary. Those two buttons should not be visible. At least there's at least two options. So yeah, but my parametric EQ is now reset. So you get 10 of those. You got a menu switch, which is weird. Channels, no link. Confirming linking to input 2, yes. Input 2. So inputs 1 and 2. Oh, so you could EQ if you wanted the input from left and right. This has now become a what the fuck are you doing here? It used to be I could still load up the old software maybe and look at it. Hold on. Let me load up the old software. I should be able to still play around with it. Yeah, it was nice because you had like it was a graph. It showed you from here to there. So you can go and here's your parametric EQ, and then you had your routing of on and off. In other words, it would be real easy for me because I would just be like literally, okay, well, turn those off, turn those off. We want nothing but input 1, which would be left channel, going to all of these, and then that would just be everything left channel. And then you had your crossover settings, which I was gonna fuck with. And then you had your parametric EQ after the fact, 4 of those. And then you had your delay, gain, outputs. This was all very basic and straightforward. And you could set your delay, your output delay in milliseconds, and your compressors. But we're no longer using this. Now we've got this. And there's so much I hate about new things, like obviously because new, different, new, bad. But this is gonna be interesting because it's like, I don't see how to get into that. Where's the thing that sets it to like go forward? I'm hitting input 1, because there's the 4 we can switch to. It's always got 4. I wish it had more than that. Initialize default settings, turn off the amplifier. So basically every time I switch to the 4 different profiles, it's gonna wanna reset it to 0 because I haven't accessed them yet. And it's gonna be all fucking different, so let it do that. And keep in mind, I should be able to, once I set up left channel to be like a certain way, I can save that, swap to the different unit. It's gonna ask for the firmware updates again. And then I could be like, all right, now set this. And I could have different settings set and then infrared remote control change them without the laptop. Actually, I don't even see the infrared thing. Yeah, initialize default settings. I could also control the volumes with these, but then it's a matter of infrared receiver hitting both and lowering them at the same time without any visual representation of that. So it's probably going to be something like a digital input with a volume down, which in the case of having it hooked up to my garage speakers that are huge, might be dangerous. I'm not going to be able to control the volume knobs and those things are going to be just set and forgotten. Let's do the last one. I might as well go through all 4. Yeah, no, this is going to be, because I don't see how do we steer the data? How do we steer it? This is just, all right, so this has to be just like it's on and on. So I'm just going to make those all on. Yeah, I should have hit okay with that. I'm just going to set it to all on top. And since they're sharing the same fiber optic input, they're both getting left and right. They're both getting left and right. This one's going to be all on top. So here, we'll go to number 1, which won't need to reload now because we've already done it. We're going to shut off the output for 2. And we're going to do on. So now all 4 are getting, it's hard to see. These are all the same, and they should be getting from input 1 here. So if I mute input 2, there you go. Right channel. It says input 1 and input 2 because it doesn't have to necessarily be left and right. So it's just going to use inputs and outputs. But now we've muted this. We've taken 1 channel from the fiber optic that's coming in, being split and put into both. And now we've got all 4 of these are outputting the exact same. So I just basically turned this into the world's most complicated RCA splitter. But now is when we get to the fun shit. So then I have to pick the outputs. So out 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I want to have it sitting like, say, like this, then output 1 would be the subwoofer, 2 would be the bass bins, 3 would be the mid-range 18, and then 4 is the horn. And what I'm going to have to do is, it's just going to be the cross. I'm dealing with crossovers because those big speakers outside really don't have a crossover enabled. They're just raw, because crossovers would explode. So they expect you and your mixing console, I think. So parametric equalization, I'm not gonna start fucking with this. This is too much right at this moment. Menu, yeah, the menu is to link. I don't like how I can switch between just like this, output 1, output 2, output 3, output 4. So it'll be nice and easy to fuck with it once I am fucking with it. Let's see, they've made it like a browser. Let's see if I can do that with the crossover, because this is where it actually matters. So I'm gonna leave it in basic mode. High pass filter, low pass filter. So input 1, if we're input 1, lowest number, lowest frequencies, it's gonna have only a low pass filter. So there's our bass, that's our subwoofer. And our frequency cutoff is currently set to 100 Hertz. I'm gonna set that just to 80. We're gonna go straight, actually, you know what, probably gonna go lower than that. But you know what, we're gonna do 60 Hertz. Can I do this with the keyboard? Thank God. And then we can pick the shape. Oh my God, there's so many. The Linkwitz Riley, the Bessel 12, the Butterworth 36. I set it to Butterworth 36. Did that it might have already been set to Butterworth 30. Butterworth 12? It's weird. Oh, because I'm doing the wrong thing. So now it's over here. So let's go to the Bessel 12. So that's a smooth roll off. That means it's still producing frequencies higher, and I really don't want that for the 0.1 sub, the big sub in the middle. The decibels, the higher the decibels, the steeper the cutoff. So it's like, that's like, boom, you do nothing. And I can just grab this and pull it? Oh, it puts a dot there where you're trying to blend over at -3 dB. Because the next one should come in and be -3 dB where it crosses over. And this should be persistent across. So we're doing a low pass filter with a Butterworth 48 decibel octave. I cannot, let me hit menu and see what it does. So menu lets me switch through the channels, and I could link them. I'm not gonna link them because none of these are gonna be the same. If you had 2 speakers and 2 subs, you would then link them, so it's just easier to adjust. So let's see, output 2. Can I change the colors? Output 2 is the bass bins. So we're gonna need both a high pass and a low pass filter. Boom. But our high pass filter, so how much the bass bins we want to take over before we get to the actual front firing mid-range. And again, I'm just guessing here. I feel like those bottom bins shouldn't be more than 350 Hertz. 350 Hertz, and it's doing the crossover automatically there. I'm probably gonna end up changing a lot of this. The cutoff frequency for these is 101. And I did that automatically to match that thing. I'm gonna make it 100 just for obsessive compulsive reasons. So that would be our bass bins. Now we go to output 3. Now this is our, if I put on high pass filter, it doesn't move it up already automatically. So it just lock. So we're gonna bring that over here. This, according to this, that would make the actual speaker bin start at 300 Hertz. That's not bad. It is an 18. And this is where the directional sound starts. So we definitely want to have that roughly right 350. We'll have that start at 350, but we also want to cut that off again. Low pass filter enabled. Oh, I did this backwards. I think I did this backwards. Hold on. Oh yeah, there you go. It just was set too low. So where do we want the tweeter to take over? 2500 is usually a good 2000. It's pretty big. This is going to be the hardest one to time. When we go from the 18-inch front firing or the 15-inch front firing, I forget what it actually is, to the horn. The crossover to the horn is the important one. Can I just type 2000? Can I click this and just type? Yes, I can. Thank God. 2000. So bass bin, because those big tubs, those big ones at the bottom can produce low end, but not like low end. So I'm going to make the subwoofer do a lot of work. I may have to also lower all these gains down. So then we're going to have 350 to 2000 is like the real good mid-range. And then the fourth output, we're gonna enable, we don't need to have a high pass filter. Yeah. Bring that over here, and that's, again, we'll just take this straight to 2000. 1,000, not 200. And there's our crossover. This is the most basic you can get it. It's just bass bin, subwoofer, bass bins, mid-range, treble. Sorry, I touched the screen. That bothers me. And we're not gonna cut off the top of the treble, let it hit 35,000 hertz, I don't care. It won't, but let it. At some point, I may enable this and be like, please no kill eye. I would set it to like 16, like something around there. Don't try to make 20,000 hertz. For fuck's sake. My hearing personally ends at like 16,000 hertz, 16 to 16.5, which is pretty damn good for my age. But doesn't mean I need it to I'm not going to cut it off in case someone comes over that could actually hear the difference. I also don't want to murder people. You know what? We're going to make it the mosquito tone, 17,500. It'll play up to the mosquito tone. So I actually will cut it off. So there you go. And the bass bin, we could stop the bass bin from trying to do, that would be output 1. We could actually put a high pass filter in that as well, so that the actual OSD subwoofer isn't trying to do like 8 hertz, which is not a bad idea because it may attempt it and it just won't make sound. It'll just throw the driver violently. I don't believe that subwoofer is going to do better than 16 hertz, so we'll leave it at 16. And that we have a nice smooth. So we could actually, the next step would be either adjusting the placement of these crossovers or adjusting the shape, because we could adjust the butter. We're at the 48 volt. A lot of these are very, very, very steep. These are all 24s. So we might want to like make it so things blend a little more naturally. We don't have any gaps in the frequency. Where these dips happen and come down, because that's down 3 here and that's down 3 here, it's actually even. So yeah, we've done that. We're going to export. Those arrows are fucking backwards. Import, export. That is not how that works. You should have to export it, like download it, and then import it and upload it. I'm already upset. So let's just say, where am I putting this? I'm gonna make a folder for this. His 3D objects full of shit. I'm making a new folder in 3D objects. I actually use my 3D objects folder. So this is mini, I gotta change this keyboard on this laptop. Mini DSP garage setup. And we're gonna go in there, and this will be considered left. I'm just gonna label them left, and then rev 1. So that's it, save, completed. Now I'm gonna disconnect this, take the other unit, unplug that, unit goes away, plug it in here. It's gonna ask me to update all these things again. I'll come back, and then we're just gonna import that saved config to this one, and then swap it from left channel to right channel, and then we can actually bring this out to the garage and run a test, like a real test. All right, that was mostly painless. There was a different pop-up this time because it can't tell the difference between the 2 mini DSPs, which might become an issue. And it literally said, hey, something's been changed since the last time you plugged in this mini DSP on this date and this time. Would you like to reload that? And I said, no, do the initial configuration. So every time I swap now, it's gonna be like, hey, this is different, and hey, this is different. So I'm gonna have to be real careful not to do any of that. So now we're gonna have to go through, I'm gonna go back to configuration 1. It's gonna ask me if I wanna do the thing. Yeah, here, apply the changes from preset 1 on the template, which was last modified. I'm gonna say do that. Let's see if it loads what I exported into it. Because we'll have an obvious, it'll be obvious that that's what it is. All I'm gonna do now, yeah, look, it loaded it. There it is, muted, unmuted. We have no music playing. Oh, it's not set to, it's set to the analog input.
So we're going to set this one to Toslink. We're going to reverse what's muted. And we're going to reverse which ones of these are on. If this was analog, we wouldn't have to reverse these because we could just use the left input on one and the right input on the other, and then it would be fine. Or just use left input on one and left input on one and have the different signals. Since we're using the fiber optic, you have to tell it. So you could actually see the differences now. I didn't actually go back to this on the old one. So there's the bass bin, and you could see it's much less information than the... There's the subwoofer, there's the bass bin. I'm gonna get those two confused forever. There's the mid-range, which is pretty consistent because it has the most frequencies, and there's a treble sort of peaking whenever it's doing it. I don't know what song is playing. Let's play the game of what song is playing. Don't Bother None, long version from Cowboy Bebop. Dun, 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 dun. I could get me copyrighted. So now, that means this is done. That means if we go to the crossover, they're all still here. They're all bin loaded. They all done bin loaded. And all I had to do was swap over. Now, you don't need the mini DSP plugged into the software to make it work. It's programmed. I could just disconnect, and that's going to remember what it is. It's when we go to fine tune it, I'm going to have to plug things in, swap, and it's going to be weird because it's going to be modifying things on one channel. And then once I think that's right, I'm going to have to swap it over to the other channel and then sort of balance it out. This is how Bootcart has to do their tuning, because that fucking stupid software on their goddamn DSP. So there's delays and stuff I haven't fucked with either. We can invert the phase, we can compress things. We're gonna have to do gain changes. I plan on having all the amplifiers just nailed and then do all the gain changes here. You know what I might have to do? It'll be super fucking hype. I might have to get my other laptop and just have two laptops. It'll just be so much easier. Just be like, change the thing here, change the thing here, change the thing here, change the thing here. We'll see. I was hoping I could just like set it and then set it. But if I'm gonna start doing other like really specific things, like if I wanna change the millisecond delays between things, like the subwoofer is probably gonna need it delayed because it's gonna be sort of, unless I move the subwoofer physically to match everything, it's gonna need to be delayed. So I think I'm good to go out and hook this up. Now that this is done, I'm gonna disconnect this. Volume's at 100. Toslink is the input. No, it's gonna be fine. Let me see if lowering the volume on my phone actually, it does. Okay, good. So I can still just use this whole system as my source. And my phone is pretty charged. I'm gonna disconnect this. I'm gonna disconnect this. Let's move to the garage. I'm gonna need everything. In fact, I stole this from the garage because it was the only one of the Niklebs, which was the full fuck. Because now I need to plug the five things in. Source, which is usually the own X5S, would go here, and then 4 amplifier modules. So I'm just gonna kill the power on that. Shut my laptop screen. I'm gonna unplug this. I gotta grab another GoPro battery because I know it's gonna die while I'm sitting out there. My GoPro batteries are fucked. And let's get a jacket, go do a thing. Garage, cars pulled out, Halloween stuff that I'm holding for a friend. I've got to put these cables back on the tweeters. And I remembered to bring RCA cables out to hook everything up because I need 8 RCA cables. So that's going to be a thing. So let's see, will these separate? Come on. Yeah, sweet, okay. I'm using these 12-foot RCAs, which are actually designed for coaxial digital, which might be actually affecting the sound because they should be 75 ohm, which is a lot of resistance. But that's why I had them on the tweeters to begin with. I just don't have enough speaker cables. I might make it a more permanent set. Now that I have the mini DSP set up, it isn't just like a big cacophony of bullshit. I might actually be able to set them up in a way that's more, not permanent, but better. Not that I need anything better than mica cables, but this is like
This is a compromise from not having another set of... Actually, it's not the cables I'm lacking, it's adapters. And I ordered more adapters. Where the fuck are my adapters? Because the problem is the speaker up here takes a 1/4 inch as its input. That's how a lot of pro speakers do that. So I need an adapter that goes, because I currently have these. These are all speak-ons. And then I don't have an extra, the other ones, those bass bins for some reason are different connectors. So to be truly the Zeos of old, I would swap one of those bass bins for one of those bass bins so that I have a speak-on and a 1/4 inch and then a speak-on and a 1/4 inch. But here we are, not doing that. So I should probably double check, make sure everything here is still working. Here's the organization, the wire organization bin. This is currently a clusterfuck. I don't know why, but there's like something to do with the ridge vent. There's like just like sawdust on this. So nothing happening at all, just sawdust. It's not even over the center thing there. So I don't think there's no birds really in here. There's no animals that I know of. They would have done more damage than this. There's just shit falling on this. Yeah, so this will all be able to be moved, and then I could just get long RCA cables, or since I'm using fiber optic, source, RCA splitter, get 20-foot fiber optic cables. I could have the amplifiers for this side here. Actually, I could do that now. No, I don't have enough fiber optic cables. I gotta order more fiber optic cables. Because then you got the mini DSP sitting here, amp, 2 amps, and then 1 RCA cable goes down to the big sub, and then it's done. I also need to get a power plug for the sub, don't I? Yarp. So I need longer RCAs for that to come off the thing. So I gotta go back in the house now. I got my bin of stuff. Do I have a 4-foot table here? I think it's time to upgrade from this bench to a 4-foot table. I've got a 6-foot. I don't think I have a 4-footer in here, which is moderately annoying. All right, go in the house, power plug for that, long RCAs for that, 4-foot table, burb. So being it's October, it's one of the last months the cats are gonna be able to go out and in because I have to leave the door open. So Swede's in here. This is your old Hans? He was in this garage with his 3 siblings. Now he's only got 1 sibling left from April to August. 4 months. They lived just in here. I had my truck and car. I didn't get pulled in the garage at all. They just lived in here, making a fucking mess in here. And then when the cat ran away, 1 cat passed away. She was sick, some unknown disease that the doctor was like, we should probably, and then she was dead. And then the old cat, 14-year-old Buddy, orange cat, deaf as a post, couldn't hear a fucking thing, just fucking vanished. It's like vanishing pointed out. 12 days I was letting him in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. On the 12th day, he waited for me to kill the power in the circuit breaker in the kitchen, in the basement, because we were working in the circuit box. So we killed the power to this garage, we killed the security camera, and killed the lights. So the security camera on the thing couldn't see anything. He vanished, like Ocean's 11. Like a prison break scenario. He's going for the front door. I should have Mandy let him in. Let's see if I can message Mandy real quick. Let's see, where's my girl? Baby, can you open the front door for Swede? Question mark. Swede. Let's see if she actually, by the way, she linked me a $115 toilet paper holder, and she's like, but it'll last you a lifetime. And I'm like, I don't want it to last me a lifetime. It's a toilet paper holder. Cost what a toilet paper holder should cost. Actually, it's kind of warm in here. So here's my 4-foot table from the inside of the house. I don't know if she's gonna catch this message in time. Echo, make announcement.
What's the announcement?
Hey Mandy, can you open the front door for Swede?
Announcing.
Hey Mandy, can you open the front door for Swede? because that'll announce it in the house as well, which has probably scared the shit out of her just now. But it's fine, because it's all about getting those results. Oh, oh. She did it, she heard it. Oh, there he goes. Look at this. This is science making things happen. Oh, he's such a cute little boy. Yeah. All right. I'm deciding if I want to hook everything back up the way it was to give it one last listen, or if I want to just say, fuck it, rip it all apart, let's make this work. I kind of know how they sounded. This is still running, by the way. It's just running on battery. My laptop's never shut off when I lower the screen down because I close it to move it and open back up and I don't have to fucking restart it. I'm also deciding if I want to use the bin. I think I still want to use the bin. I don't need these plugged in. This is just going to make it more difficult. Also, one of these mini DSPs has a 0.5 amp power supply and the other one has a 2 amp power supply. So this one's labeled with marker and this one's labeled with a thing. So they're from different eras, but they are still full fuck. Fuck it, let's just plug everything back in. It's not gonna be hard. Oh, and I realize I'm also almost completely out of long RCA cables, which is fun. I'll reorganize this in a second. We just need to find 1, 2. Oh my God, there's so many. Oh, here, 1, 2, 3. 4. Where's the 5th one? There it is, 5. We were preamping into this. Now we're not. There's fucking spiderwebs on it. We're also, oh, we ruined the entire signal path, didn't we? I guess this will just have to work. 2. Power switch on. All the amplifiers just clicked. Power switch on. Get ready to pause it. I think it's playing, it's just real quiet. There we go. All right, so now that's at least working. Let's rotate this for a second. That still sounds good. Almost walked over this. I would have fucking sucked. Okay, so it all still works. The hookup all still works. This is how it sounds. Real boomy out of these. The ultimate goal, the whole reason for this is adding that subwoofer, because these are not designed for 15 hertz. Frankly, that's not designed for 15 hertz, but 20 hertz, and that's its job. These are designed to make extreme sound pressure levels at 100 feet that feels like the kick drum in your chest, but not like bass, not like a professional, like an actual, like hits 20 hertz. That'll hit 20 hertz. So we're gonna have output, output, singular output, right side output. It's only mono, so honestly it only needs 1. If I had 2 of those subwoofers, which don't tempt me, then it would be even cooler, because then that would have a sub on that side and that would have a sub on that side. Not like I don't have subwoofers just hanging around my house, but I don't have matching subwoofers except for the 12-inch Yamos. I don't think the 12-inch Yamos could keep up with these. Just fucking facts, boys and girls. But I think that one will. It's also gonna rattle the shit out of this room. God, I forgot how good this is. I don't touch it for a while, and I have the cars in here, and I demonstrate it with the cars. It's not the same as the Devilman Crybaby soundtrack, just... Okay, now I'm interested. All right, now I'm going to tear this all apart, because this is using nothing but these splitters, because it's just like, okay, 1 channel into this, into both the bass bins. Actually, that's gonna stay. That's actually gonna be something that stays. with a different wire. But yeah, no, it's splitters into splitters into splitters to make the left channel into everything, the right channel into everything. That's all gonna be replaced with the mini DSPs. And I brought a bunch more of these coaxial digital cables because they're the fucking, I got these at like wholesale for like 60 cents each, 30 cents each. So let's, hold on. I'm gonna try to do a cool transition here. I'm gonna stand on the crack, foot on that dirt, stand on the crack, looking straight down. Oh, that didn't work at all. Okay, anyway. I neglected to recall which mini DSP was left and which mini DSP was right. I can probably go back in the video and watch on the GoPro because one of them is labeled HD on top and the other one's not. I'm pretty sure the HD one was the one I programmed first, so that would be the left channel. So that's why it's on that side. Everything's moved. I was... Fuck GoPro and their batteries. I was splitting, there was 1 amp controlling both woof tweeters and 1 amp controlling both mid-range so I could mix them against each other because you couldn't do that if it was just individual amplifiers. Now that doesn't matter because the mini DSP is going to be able to just have this entire speakers on 1 amp. This is left channel, this is right channel, and that'll be left channel and right channel, and I'll do all the actual like adjustments through software. So now we're going to see if I can get all these wires to fit. I've sort of just, I have a hope on how I'm going to wire this. Well, actually, no, wait, we need to undo number 1. That's subwoofer. So number 1 is not going, yeah, these can come out. That's getting the big boys from over here, which are currently just tossed in here. I also plugged the subwoofer in directly to the wall, which this is on an extension cord to this. I feel like all this being drawn is from one outlet's bad enough. Never mind having another extension cord for this. So we just won't. Wow, there's a lot of weight. Now the actual left and right input of this does not matter. I just want to keep the wires from getting all fuckied. Fuckied is an official term, by the way. Let's go under. All right, there's our out 1 and see why I shut the camera off? Here's our out 2. No, actually, it's our out 1 again. We do need to still plug in. I wish this was on wheels. We could make this have wheels. That's one of the beautiful, that's the beauty part, Rich, is you can make things have wheels. I got these for $12 at Home Depot. I was like, what year is it? Ah, it crashes into the driver. It literally crashed into the driver. You might as well watch me get a hernia. Get it in there. Do that. That's so much better now. And yes, you're supposed to dock it with the floor. Don't look up docking, but yes, you're supposed to have it like attached to the floor so it doesn't move and shake when it makes it. Fuck it for now. It just needs convenience. I wish I could magically make this park on top of that. I can't. We need to plug in the USB to power this. And then the last thing to plug in. Now this has a fiber optic output. I am not 100% sure if it can control the volume out of the digital outputs. We're gonna find out. Because then it's easy. Then I already have everything I need in here. That's the source. There's the amps. This is the distribution. Jesus Christ, these didn't go way enough. I put blue tack on the bottom to try to like mount it to the table. And she's just like, nope. So now we have that. So now 2 is the bass bins. Now the bass bins are coming over here. There's bass bins. So 2 is getting the splitter is still plugged into the amp because we're using both channels of the amp for both speakers. And now the last 2, and this is the part that's actually gonna matter the most, are coming here. And we've got, this is 4, this is the highs, which is this side. And this is the mid-range. Again, it doesn't matter what's left or right or what side it's plugged into. It's just, you know, you look, you go, okay, 4 is the highs. which is still this version, so it's the left. And then this is the right. The fact that it's on a different side of the thing means it's twisting it in a very, very stupid manner, and I hate it. There you go. There you go. So we now have everything wired up. We could turn the power on, maybe? I'm just double checking in my head. What's gonna blow up? What's gonna be, where's the problem gonna be? Power, signal, outputs. Power, signal, outputs. They all look snug. Both have inputs and power. Both have inputs and power. Wired up the same way we just had it wired up. This will turn on, probably start playing, which is gonna be a fucking nightmare, but I have the actual, I spread everything out over here. That was cool, you could see all the green lights come on. Everything's there, is plugged in good. The subwoofer is currently turned off. I'll flip the switch in the back of the subwoofer. So if I hit power on this, it should output audio. All right, we have audio. Sounds a little weird. Let's integrate some of the, just turn some of this up. Actually, let's turn these down. Not off, but down. And we'll see if this does anything. That is the correct, that's the correct frequency I went for those. There's no vocals coming out of them. It's probably a Sony fucking song. So that's good. And then the tops, again, my plan is to nail everything, but let's lower the volume on this and see if that actually affects the volume on everything else. So we'll put these back up to half, which is I think where I had them. I don't think that's affecting the volume at all. No, it's not affecting the volume at all. So that's an issue. I could use this as a DAC. I could just go get a DAC. I could just go get any DAC, hook it up to the laptop. Then my laptop has to stay out here. The goal is not to have the laptop live out in my fucking garage for a bit. I was hoping this would do that, but for now it's just a source. We're just playing with it. I don't have it programmed. I could program these to receive infrared. That's why the hell is that over there? Let's stumble on there. I could have these set to receive infrared and lower the volumes with them. Again, you can't see it. You can't verify you're lowering both at the same time. The only other issue, by the way, with splitting this all up and putting everything to control it over here is I got to split the power up. So I'd have to have 3 power plugs there and 3 power plugs there. And right now the central power thing is being real nice to me. So let's see. These need more. This is just, again, this is just the most rudimentary fucking like half volume here. Oh, we could set these now to not have any tone controls enabled. That's another thing. We don't need that anymore because it's all being set through the mini DSPs. It already sounds really good. A little more on the bass. You know what? I'm just gonna, if I nail the bass spins, are they gonna explode? Probably. Yeah, that's too much. We'll give them like 2 o'clock. And those are at 3 o'clock. But I think what's actually, it is currently working, and I think as intended. I don't have a track on this that I can recall. It's like left, right, left, right. Like a Doors song, I would recognize he starts singing out of the left channel. I don't know what this is.
Should old acquaintance be?
That sounds so good. Already. All right, let's turn the subwoofer on. And we'll see if that's getting integrated like it should be. Power up. App DSP off. Room mode off. No, I'm sorry, power mode. Phase 0, we can adjust that. Crossover. I'm maxing out the crossover because we're cutting off the signal. And I have the gain set to 100. We're gonna set the gain to like 1 o'clock.
we're not gonna. Haters, see you. Actually, it's louder there, even though the door's open, which is kind of weird. That's gonna be this. The loudness is gonna be that. I don't know why it should be louder, unless the physical 2 amp power supply going into the mini DSP is allowing the mini DSP on that. Actually, which one is it? Hold on. Yep. This right side has a bigger power supply for 12 volt. It might actually be producing more voltage out of the fucking RCAs. See you later, all that I could do. But you never feel me, no. I know. And this is gonna have the bass, but I'm gonna copyright, so just need to like. I need a song that's less noticeable. That just starts with a bass note. Give me some bass. Give me some bass. I don't know what this is. It's just static. It's static. I don't hear anything. Ah. It's currently not producing any sound because it's not on. There's no power LED. What's wrong with the power? Did I break it bringing it out here? Is this cord fucking loose? Huh? This isn't powering on. Why you do this to me, subwoofer? Hope, because I brought this on the cart and I rolled it all the way into the garage. I'll be fucking furious if this stopped working. Maybe the fuse blew up. All right, let me diagnose some shit and figure out what I'm doing with this, and then I'll come back. I don't want to spend 7 hours in this. That is a blown fuse, and I'm very, very happy to say that it came with a replacement fuse. So now this is on. It also went bump when I turned it on, which is probably not a great sign. My friend got the 8-inch version and then returned it because he said it was broken. The amplifier literally was producing like 4 decibels. So let's try this again. Where's the remote? It made a very loud foot dump, by the way. That was like, I kind of wish I recorded that. I can tell that's on already. Oh my God. Yeah, it's on. That's on. It's fucking hilarious because I can already tell that there's a subwoofer attached to this system. It's already better. It's already better. And I never really liked the DAC outputs of these mini DSPs, so this is actually a downgrade. No matter how good these amplifiers are, we're still feeding it with a DAC. That's a DAC for 4 analog things, and these things were cheap when I got them. Like, they have HD processing, but it doesn't mean the actual conversion from digital to analog is any good. That's why I love, more than these, I love the Nano Digis, because they give you 4 outputs, but they're 4 coaxial digital outputs. You use your own DAC. So it would make this setup more complicated. But look around. Stop where you are. Turn up, stand up, look around. Do you see anybody else more deserving of finding like 15 DACs in their house than me? No, me. Jeez. Glass animals. I don't know if that's like that a weird like crunchy noise is part of the song. See, I don't know this song well enough to know it. I just know that we're running on near max volume for a lot of the, it's max signal output and max signal output, and this is not gonna control it. So I'm gonna have to swap I'll have to swap back to my phone where I can actually lower the volume and actually do some adjustments. It's unfortunate, but just how it is. David Chesky. Fucking Gorillas is great. All right, we gotta swap. As much as I love that own, it is not gonna work for these tests. So back to this. I could plug this into the laptop if I got an adapter,
But do I want this to be the source and the thing and the, no. So we're gonna hit this up. We're gonna hit this up. We're gonna lower the fuck out of it, lower the fuck out of that. Okay, that's good. Wallachia. Oh. Well, voila. Okay, so now I've got this and this and this. I guess it's time to start tuning things or taking a picture and posting it to my patrons, and then we can start actually tweaking things. Tweak, tweak, tweak. Like a volume. Instigate a follow. Instigate a follow. Ah. So I'm hearing too much vocals. I turned down the upper speakers and I'm still hearing vocals coming out of this. So what I'm gonna do is, oh, by the way, they're backwards. This was the right one and that's the left one. So I went in here. I'm gonna obviously have to modify them both. So I'm just swapping it at this point. Can I rename this? Oh, there's a text box there. Can I actually rename it, or is it just, nope. Just lets me select the text in the program for no reason. View, show side hide bar. I'm sorry, show hide sidebar, which is this, which we kind of want that. Why did my phone just go badink? What happened to my phone? So many emails. ManDB posted a post. Yeah, okay, no. Actual size. Well, actual size is huge. I actually kind of like that. You know what? I don't need to see this. I still don't know where it is to, hold on. Toggle full screen. You can F11 it. So that's a thing. About, here's your end user license agreement, your settings. Network device discovery 40-second timeout, checker interval, software update every hour, check now. Color mode, system dark. Oh, there's a dark mode. The greatest software of all time. Install USB audio driver, create snapshot. You know what I still don't see? Menu exit, toggle full screen, about, settings, device template, discover devices, version history. I still, how the fuck do I get out of this now? Template, device, templates, there's all the things. How the fuck do I get out? How do I escape? Do I have to actually hit escape? How the fuck do I get back to the mode? Am I stuck? Wow. They may need to adjust some of this. Check now. Device console's up to date. I don't know how to get back to the, is it like another window? No, because this is this playing. So I can put my thing back on because now it's system is my setting. And I just close the system settings. I don't know how to get back to the main menu. Wait, where was it? Where was menu? It was in about? No. Where did I even see the menu? All I have in file is exit, view, actual size, zoom in, zoom out, toggle, about. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm closing it. I closed it. Something's wrong. All right, here's the thing that says it's hooked up, boom, and here we are. I don't know how to get back to this. That was fucking weird. Now I'm gonna go back to view, actual size is control 0, because there's nothing cut off at the bottom. We're negative 170 decibels. That's weird that they're different volumes, because it's not even playing. So now they're both left channel, by the way. So I've just basically made this whole system mono, but all left channel. So we're gonna go into the crossover, and we're gonna take, we're gonna hit menu on that. We're gonna output 2, which is the bass bins. Well, the bass bins specifically on that side. And we're going to adjust the frequency. We want less than it's coming up to 350, which is about right. We're gonna set it to 260. We're gonna do 260. And we're gonna start it at, where did I have it? I think the subwoofers are pretty good. So we're gonna bring the subwoofer up till we match it. So it says 100 hertz is where the dot lines up. But now that we've moved those down, we have to bring that, or that
down as well to match. So now we got to go to output 3. And we got to stretch this from 350 down to 250. I'm going to do the final adjustments here. Actually, a little bit higher to get it like lined up, 256. Again, I'm actually matching it visually because it should still have a thing. So now those giant bass bins will have the lowest frequency, like lots for the subwoofer, lots for the tweeter, lots for the mid-range, not much for those. They're just there for the punch. I could probably even disable those entirely. In other words, when I set it up for the different settings, like, oh, version 1, setting 1, preset 1, preset 2. Preset 1 is probably gonna be my master preset, get everything to work. Preset 2 might be everything working without the sub. Then preset 3 would be sub and just the tops. And then preset 4 is, I don't know, whatever I want preset 4 to be. And I will be able to switch them. Again, I went through the menu, I'm looking for it. How do I program a remote control? They have the infrared receivers. I don't see the thing in here to make it programmable for the remote control. It was just up in the menu, stop, settings, remote control, and you would hit preset 1 and then hit the remote, and preset 2 and hit the remote, and that would just learn, and then the volume up and down would learn. I don't see that right now. There's not a lot here. We have connection, master volume, input source, and presets. Rename, we could rename the presets instead of 1 to something else. For now, I don't give a shit. But okay, so let's export. Those arrows are fucking me up. We've changed it. I don't have anything that's changed with the tops yet. I haven't really listened to them enough to verify. So I want to fix this as a problem. So we'll export this. I'm going to overwrite left revision 1 because now it's left revision 1 completed. So now we're going to disconnect, reconnect. And I might still do the thing with the 2 laptops. I haven't decided yet. So now it's going to ask, apply the changes from right now. It's highly recommended you turn off the amplifiers. I didn't. So let's see if something just explodes. Please don't explode. I mean, the only thing up is the bass bins. So now we have to reverse this, mute that, unmute this, and then undo, 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 on. I missed one. Boom. And now the crossover should be the new setting. So that's correct. I didn't even see like a back button for it. So now if I unpause this, much less vocals coming out of either side. Hopefully there's enough noise. Like that, literally, that subwoofer alone, I was running it because I could just mute. Where the fuck is mute? I could just go boom, boom, boom. I can't do it on that side. Let's add another fucking laptop. I'm gonna end up getting another fucking laptop out here. Okay, what I could do is just turn, this is all the way up. Just gonna turn that all the way down. So now you'll just hear the sub. That's just the sub. There's nothing else. None of these speakers are doing anything. So that is, that's Lucas Stragnoli. This is a very, very like acoustic track. Not a lot coming out of there. Also, something weird, when I pull the RCA nearly out, she freaks out. I think because I've got 2 RCAs going into it, and they're coming from 2 different devices. And these devices are also plugged into the same thing, but it's not a grounded thing. So there's a whole grounding possible issue. Because if I pull out the RCA, it just goes, eh, and it's like, oh, fuck. So everything's gotta be attached together or she freaks the fuck out. That's just that thing. My car is wet, I don't like it. And I think I was able to get it balanced. I think, because I could adjust the volume of the subwoofer in software, but I think I want to adjust the subwoofer volume on the subwoofer itself, just because it's its own entity, and just tuning it's gonna be so much easier if it's like, so leave it at 0 here, and then fuck it, that's a physical volume knob. These other ones, I want to be able to nail it, blue tack the knobs in place, you know it's at 100, and then control everything internally. So let's,
vocals. But like not a lot, like not a discernible amount, but that's fine. And now these, I just have the physical volumes turned down. So now the actual balance between everything, I could still balance the upper and the lower here with 2 knobs. The problem is I want to balance this. This hasn't been touched yet. And this has to be done in software because they're coming off the same amplifier. So this is like the left channel, it's the right channel, doesn't matter. It's channel A, channel B, channel 1, channel 2. I want to be able to trim those and trim them down. Now they don't have, like, again, I got to stop the camera because fucking Sony. And play a little bit more and then just judge basically by ear until I start doing, because this is the laptop that does the Sound ID 37 point. It probably won't be worth it in this garage because I fucking highly doubt that when I do the thing where I hold the point, that it's gonna be able to hone in with this sort of space. It's just gonna freak the fuck out and be like, it's just, I'll try, but I have a very strong feeling that it's just not. It's gonna be unable to perform the actions it needs to perform. I'm just gonna move the table back a little bit more. So I'm not listening to it. I mean, I would actually be able to almost move the table all the way back because all I need is, I could actually leave everything here. Actually, no, the problem would be I need USB access to these. So that would be my limiting factor. These, I don't want to be too far away from this, although I could get longer RCAs. But the biggest issue is that's what I'm using to recode everything. So now we have right and left, so that's good. I'm gonna listen for a bit. Goodbye. So you wanna hear some shit? So I want to nail like I'll take the thing out because we're actually gonna fix this in software now. This is a perfect example of what you're fixing in software. So Fosse amp here, all the way down, that way, clicks off, it's off. Click it on, raise the volume to maximum, and it's at like 5 o'clock. This side, shut it off, same exact spot for the off, raise the volume, 6 o'clock. The physical volume knob on the one I was sent first, the one with the knob, goes farther. And I'm standing here going, why is that side so much louder? I thought it was the power brick, and then it's like, wait, the power brick for the bigger power bricks on this side. So what the fuck, Fosse? Love the Fosses, but now I would literally put the Blue Tech on it because I'm lowering this side. This whole amplifier has more headroom because the volume knob literally goes to 11 versus 10. So now my fucking brain's exploded. So now what I gotta do is I'm gonna leave this at maximum. We're gonna disconnect this. I'm gonna unplug. I'm gonna plug back in over here. Oh my fucking God. No, yeah, because I changed it, then I brought it here, then I changed it. So now I'm gonna hit this. Now I've gotta hit continue and use apply changes preset. No, continues and use current settings 158 because I unplugged that says 2:15 p.m. If I apply the changes from this to that, then the right channel changes will also apply to this one. It'll become right channel again. I don't want to do that. I want to continue using current settings. So boom, it's just here, muted right channel, playing left channel. Okay, so now what I got to do is I got to nail this volume and go into both the outputs for 3 and 4, and we got to lower them some amount of decibels. What annoys me now is it puts me, like I hit adjustment, and then here's the bar to adjust it, or I could type it in. And I have to type in, if I type -3 or -6 dB, it left a 0. So it doesn't do anything. So you gotta go in, you gotta hit backspace, -6, enter. I'm gonna do that for both of them. Backspace, 6, enter. So now, just these two outputs will be down 6 dB. I don't know if it's 6 dB, it might be 3 or 4. That's just a fucking stab. And the only way to tell is I have a specific song, which is Wilson Pickett's Land of a Thousand Dances.
1, 2, 3.
which is basically a mono song from the fucking 60s. So I'm now going to go and just keep walking all the way back here on this crack. I set it up so it's exactly 10 feet from the crack and 10 feet from the crack. And I think I had to adjust the tilt on that one. It's hard to judge, but I think they're both pretty much pointed at me. And I'm just gonna stand here and I'm gonna hear where Wilson Pickett's coming from. And if Pickett's coming from that side, it's too loud. If it's coming from that side, if it's coming from there, that's too loud. If it's coming from there, that's too quiet. That one's gonna stay consistent, and I'm just gonna adjust the levels on that until it's perfect. And then I guess I'll do the same for the bass bins, but I feel like the bass bins are even. It's just weird. That's a weird, I mean, we're working with such giant scale things here. And then why? The knob physically turns farther. I'll be back. So this is the first time I shut the sub off. I actually I flipped the switches off on the bass bin amplifiers. I just shut the subwoofer off, so now I'm left with just this. So the way I'm gonna do this now is I've figured out, this needs to be down 5 dB. 5 whole decibels, because of that fucking switch goes past Now I want the other amplifier to go up 5 dB, although we're getting plenty of volume. I'm still running about 2/3 on the phone. But now I'm gonna isolate it, have just these two play, shuffle through a bunch of tracks, deal with it. Of course, anything I change here now is only gonna affect that side, because one laptop. And then if I like what I've changed, swap to the other laptop, apply the same changes, and then listen to it. And I'm gonna have to actually apply the changes, which means I can't really save a preset, because if I save the preset, it's gonna be the wrong channels. You get it. It's annoying. It's an annoying way I'm doing this, so.
A combination of sounds with a view to beauty of form and expression of emotion.
That's dead center. All right, well, so now just that the 15-inch up there is doing nearly nothing. Now I've given it 250 to 2000, but there's no like meat to the sound. Like it sounds like this. So if I turn off the high pass filter, now that bass, now the mid-range will attempt to go down to 0 hertz, and it sounds like this out of that side. Much better sounding. So what I'm gonna have to do is figure out where the fuck I wanna cut that off, because the treble, the tweeter's honestly, the horn's good. A horn, I know where the horn should be. 2000 to, actually here, we'll jack the horn up. I could literally just shut that side off. So that one side won't play. And I could just fuck with all day the different settings, and I'm probably gonna also have to adjust across like the actual slope, because I feel like we're hard sloping it. So what I'm gonna probably do first, I'll put this back on. We're gonna take it to a 12 dB Linkwitz Riley. Look at that. See, that's a nice smooth crossover. That's like, it's killing it, and then I'll have to bring the other one up so they blend different. So I put output 2 and I switch that, the upper end, to a Linkwitz Riley 12. See now? Now we've got a nice smooth crossover. The problem is where they intersect is way too far down. There'll be a dip in the frequencies. So we have to adjust, adapt, and over, because hit play for fuck's sake. This is gonna be effort. Anything I change here, I have to copy paste there. The problem is I can't literally copy paste it, because if I do, it'll take the channel. I need a second fucking laptop. All right, Burb, I gotta go get my other laptop, another USB micro cable, and I gotta go install the software on it, which is a whole thing. Burb. All right, I have 44% of this battery, and I forgot to get another battery. So, I just plugged this laptop in, I installed the software in the house. My first time plugging it in, guess what? Hey, you plugged me into a new laptop. I'm gonna initialize default settings.
So it's wiping my configuration. At least it is for preset 1, which is the one we're using. So what I'm gonna have to do now is take the preset from this, physically send it to this, load it, and then swap it from left channel to right channel. And then I'll have 2 laptops and I could do left and right configurations simultaneously, this is just more badass. More badass-ery. Plug our phone back in. How's your battery doing, baby? 58%. That's better than I had hoped. Hit play. That's off because those are off. Okay, just checking. Let's shut that off. Put this on. So now this, well, that's gonna be fucking weird. It's nose Toslink at least. It just nothing's, I'll put 1 and 2 are on, not 3 and 4. So this is now gonna become the right channel, which means all of those on. We can mute the left. So now, so that's 0, 0, but none of our crossovers have been taken. So we gotta go and, we've already exported it as left revision 1. Now I'm gonna use Telegram to communicate from this to this, and I'll get it all set up, and then we'll be able to actually start doing some fuckery. All right, it's currently importing, which is, you know what, wait. Export, import. Import is down. It's setting it down. You know what? I'm okay with the arrow's direction now. Import down, export out. Yeah, why was I bad about that? Or did something update in the meantime while I was sitting here? Doesn't matter. Let me set this to be view actual size. Actual size. Might want to happen until the update preset loads. Put the screen brightness to be matched at least, or at least closer. How is this one so much brighter than that one? You're a fucking Pantone screen. I don't get it. Okay, so now if we hit crossover, we will have the updated well, wait a second, hold on. Ooh, so that's the one I was fucking with, and this is the one I haven't fucked with. So we're gonna have to copy these numbers over manually, or at least the Butterworth and 12 octave things. So this is the old config. This is partially the new config. I'll deal with it. Actually, I'm gonna F11 that and this. Boom. Can't crack my knuckles enough. So, we need to go back. By the way, I think I figured out how to get out of the menu. I think when you're in menu, hold on. Where's settings? About there. You go back to discovered devices and you have to click the thing again. And then you're back into it. So yeah, no, that's dumb. That's just escape. Just escape. So now I can go view actual size. Oh, this is actual size. I have to zoom in for this laptop because it's a higher res screen. We now have to reverse this. We have to unmute the right channel and we got to swap everything over again so that it is the right channel that outputs. So now if I unpause this, now things are still off and muted and there's no, this is maxed, this is maxed. It doesn't know that that needs 5 dB taken down. Although, you know what? I'm gonna reset that and just see what happens. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna import, turn off the amplifier. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna import the one I just copied. So we'll have the exact same copy, although this one I have to change over the letters because it's left to be left. It's much faster to import on this one than this one. That's weird, considering this is a much newer laptop. So now, left side unmuted, left side muted, right side muted, top, bottom. Our parametric equalization, or crossover points, we are not EQing anything. Our crossover points are identical. Now it sounds correct. So, now we can get back to the nitty gritty, dirty, furty, little Timmy, where we want to add more substantial mid-range to this, because it was all going to this. This is basically
useless the way it is currently set up. And I didn't think it would be that way, but because I'm thinking in terms of a smaller speaker, this wants 100 hertz, which makes these bass bins are only going to be able to do 100 down to whatever the sub takes over. And then I'll work on the crossover between the sub and that. That's my goal right now. So I'm gonna sit here for a hot minute, or actually a kind of chilly minute, and we're gonna fuck with it. I also have to take another picture of this because it's gone. We've gotten to double laptops, everybody. Double laptops all the way. Oh, enter problem 4839291.6. Number one, it won't play any of the Witch Mercury fucking songs. Just they don't play. I don't understand. And now it like breaks. Like as soon as it breaks, there's no music that plays out of this now. I gotta unplug it. It plays. Plug it back in. And it plays. I don't understand what that is. But here's the thing. You know how if you've seen the other videos of this, some of these speakers appeared to be wired out of phase. Now it appears to be wired in phase. So I had to undo the phase issue when I wired it. But now that I've corrected them both to be positive to positive, negative to negative, it sounded out of phase together. So then I'm able to hit the button that just literally inverts the phase of that entire system, or the entire bass bin cabinet over there. And now it sounds better. Because I've got it, I could actually figure this out real easy. Also, so I was doing balance adjustment. I'm like, why is that one 5 decibels louder than this one? And because that one was out of phase and canceling each other out. So I'm like, now it shouldn't need that. So now the output should be 0. I was giving this a boost of fucking 5 decibels. Let's give that 0. It may need to still go back to backspace 0, enter. Enter. So now they're back to the same level. I closed that door, by the way. I need to just clear it so I can walk straight backwards. Not being able to walk straight backwards is going to kill me. I closed that door so I have some reflection surface the same as this. It still sounds louder. It's hard to judge. What I need to do is I need to unlock the frequencies of that. I'm just gonna go into the parametric EQ. I'm gonna go into the crossover on both, and I can do this simultaneously if I'm a badass. Crossover, crossover, click. Output 2. I'm gonna shut off the low pass filter on both, essentially unlocking all the frequencies for those, which sounds like ass and is very loud. But I'm gonna lower that, and then I'm gonna stand back and listen to see which one, if there's a phasing issue, it'll be obvious. And now if there's a balance issue, it'll be obvious. That's the beauty part, Rich, that you can just be like, unlock frequencies, relock frequencies, adjust things. This is why you mini DSP. This is why you DSP. The battery's dying. This is Wolfpack Gangsta Bounce from the Blade soundtrack. Just in the bass bins. Needed a 4.5 decibel boost on that side. Instead of negating, taking power away, like I might have to do for the tops. I'm not back to the tops yet. I'm gonna use that 12 decibels of more and feed that amplifier a little more voltage on average. And so now they're balanced. I had them turned up. I heard vocals come from the center. Cramped them all back down again. And now I added the sub. And now the sub is only going from, what are we at? It's actually doing like 12 to 45 out of that. Here, this is a great example here. What's it like to play sub bass in a metal garage? It's just, everything's broken. Oh, and like being up here next to that is even more insane. Like that would probably, in a final revision of this, that would probably roll somewhere in front.
Like it's either has to go all the way against a wall, which would be terrifying, or all the way in front to sort of like just emit from that perfect center spot. If I don't roll it right there, right now, stop. But I think we've got that. I think the base end of this is now worked out. We've got presence from the left, presence from the right, and the subwoofer is... And I've got that maxed out now. I've now maxed that out. So whatever blending I'm doing, I'm gonna end up doing in software by probably lowering these or raising these, because that's, I want full potential. Where are we as far as volume control on my phone? There. So we go like 1 or 2 more clicks up. I wonder if it's gonna... Yeah, that doesn't look like it's excursioning like crazy. Like it's just... That's fucking dumb. Arcane, deals changed. This is why it has to move my basement. There's just walls here made of metal. So now, I'd feed this up, turn these on slowly. We'll see what I got to do as far as balancing these. So now I'll shut the amps off for this. I'll kill the subwoofer again because I'm not paying attention to that. And I'll work on getting this to blend. Actually, we have added more continuity to this. So I should see how it works and then work from there. This is a fun little toy. This is fun. Gonna do. Oh God, it's doing the thing. Oh God, it's doing the thing. I caught it doing the thing. Yeah, that was the one in every like 200 start where it just exacerbates, instead of steadying the motion, it exacerbates the motion. I'm so glad I caught it with it in my hand. Anyway, so now I've got everything muted except for the horns. And I put on some System of a Down. And so now I know that the balance is, I'm bumping this up 3.5, 4 decibels higher on the horn on this side than the horn on this side. And again, this could be just microscopic motions that need to be corrected for this, but for now I'm just gonna fucking adjust it. They're even, like they're centered, although I can't choose mono on the phone. If I could choose mono on the phone, it'd be even better. But then I could just be like, boom, mono. I'm just going through a ton of different tracks and seeing where it fucking feels like it's biasing. But now that was like harsh, like that was like you. So now either I'm going to adjust the very, very, very high, take it down from 17.5, or now I can start working into the parametric equalization where I just drop like a note, like it just hurts. 5,000 hertz is usually where the pain happens. So these have to do 5,000 hertz, but could they just like less than that little thing? That's where the parametric equalization will come. Obviously room correction would be better for this than just by ear, but this is a hobby. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I have to be proud of the results. So young man, I have to go get another battery for this. We're under 20%, so it's probably gonna run for another 10 seconds next time I start it. We'll see. Inverted phase again. On the tweeter. I switched I'm like, you know what? Let me check. Click invert on one side. Inverted that side. Center image now, where it's like sort of like lost. Boom. What the fuck is with these speakers? And the tweeter is wired through the RCA adapters, which means I can't just like swap. I could swap the wires, but like why? Why you do this, speakers? These speakers are fucking weird or wired wrong or something. Someone was drunk. So I'm glad there's consistency in the fail. We'll see. Those entire cabinets are inverted phase, so both of them are inverted phase. It could have also been these wires that had issues, these Amazon Basics, which are RCA splitters, having phase issues, like why they're just wired improperly. And now they're wired even more improperly because it's just no wired improperly. It's a fucking mess. But this is what you do. You put just those two. So now what I got to do is I got to do the same thing. I have to mute this and this, and unmute this and this. So now it's just the mid bass up top, and see if that's got a centering image or if it's inverted phase. The same test. I muted everything but those, backed up, not inverted phase in either one of them. So just the tweeter on that side, just the horn. Flip it, and then that entire bass cabinet, flip it. Now, the problem could be the other way. I may have to, now I don't know if the inversion is required between this and this, or if I should move these back to normal phase and switch those to inverted phase. Just wire things properly, motherfuckers. I'm wired properly. Red is positive, black is negative. Stop being a bitch. So yeah, now the tops are okay. I need to do a little more testing with the, like, see if they sound full enough and balanced. They should be balanced. So sure enough, when I uninverted the bass cabinet and just put my head right here, it sounded better, more natural, more correct, being between it all, which means we're inverting that bass cabinet. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute that entire side, and I'm going to invert the bass cabinet on this side and unmute it, and just put my head again. Oh, I can't play it, or else, you know, that'd be great. Excuse me, hi-fi fan. Now I'm gonna put my head here and just hear, does that sound good, or does it sound like this? Okay. Let me tell you how dumb I am. Let me tell you how dumb I am. See that master volume that's at 0? That one was at -3. So I'm over here fucking figuring out why is everything so fucking fuck. So, but here's the thing. I -3'd this, and I -1.5 to that. Well, no, I had -4.5. I had positives. I did math. That was +1.5, and I made it -1.5 to match the 3 decibel that I re-fucking gained, because I'm stupid. Unless one of the remote controls is just controlling it, because I don't. Again, I still don't know how to look this up. Maybe there's like a right-click menu. Anyway, this is fucking stupid now. This is just dumb. This is dumb as a bag of rocks. So there's still inversion issues. I've got slight tweaks. I'm trying to leave, as much as I can, leave one side alone. If I'm doing volume tweaks, do it on one side, unless it's gonna fuck things up, which is why this is down 3 and this is down 1.5. Do I have to bring this down more? See, now I'm gonna have to go back and redo a bunch of shit because of that fucking stupid shit. Can't believe I had it literally like, oh, your master volume's down. Why is this side quieter? May as well put the fucking camera on the top of my head for this fucking one. This is 7 seconds after I stopped the other one. I shut off, I started muting all the channels because I was gonna go reassess if the tweeters sounded like they're centered, if the woof mid-range. And I muted everything, and the subwoofer right here, it's like, I'm like, what the fuck? There was still signal getting to the subwoofer. Now, when you use long cables like this, quite easily, it can pick up radio waves. If you're near a radio tower, I'm up on top of a hill here, it could be literally gathering interference, and the solution to that is use better cables, which, good fucking luck, or shorter cables, or more shielded cables. But here, listen to this. This is a fun little thing. Plug it in. You can still hear it, but what the fuck? What? What is that? What is that? Nothing's playing. These outputs are muted, and it doesn't matter which channel I plug in. No, I'm sorry, it does matter. This one from the left channel is just screaming that. And this one from the right channel is doing bop, 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 bop. When you plug them both in, though, it sort of cancels out. So what the flying fuck is happening? What the flying fuck is happening? Fucks. Flying fucks. I mentioned this earlier. It's like, oh, but when I do this, it sounds like this. When I do this, it sounds like this. But if I plug them both in, so this coming from the left side, and this coming from the right side, well, relatively quiet. But I could feel the driver just like, it's gotta be a grounding thing. I wonder if do I have a fucking ground lead or something long enough? A wire just to touch. Well, that's what's happening though. The grounds from this cable, the long cable, are touching this whole box and they're going down. The grounds there should be shared and then it's coming up and touching that whole box. So these boxes are officially grounded together. And there's not a grounded power, so that's not going to affect it if I put a grounded power on it. Like it works though. Like once it's all plugged in, it doesn't make the horrifying sounds. It's raining again. Anyway, let me continue to play with. Copyright that, Sony. It's amazing how annoying the treble is when it's just treble. This is hard to judge. It's also very hard to judge if these are in or out of phase, by the way. I should swap them. Now they were inverted phase again. Which actually means, so Lindsey Sterling, which is just piercing violins, it sounds more coherent when they're both correct phase. I used to have one out of phase, so now that's fixed. But I still hear a little bit of a bias to this side, and I've got that bumped up 1.5, so I'm gonna bump this up. So now what the best part about this is you click it, and then you just arrow keys. Now it's 2 dB, so another half a decibel higher on that side. I really need to get a permanent string affixed, so I could just be like, touch, and then swing it over, touch to get distance. And then I gotta redo the angularity, because like these sides are tapered in. Usually on a speaker with a straight side, you just lean over and you could see it, and you lean over and you could see it. With these being so far tapered, it's hard to judge if they're pointed at the same direction. So what you gotta do is find your center line, which I've used the Convenient Crack band name. You know, we're good on that. Because I'm just standing right here, and from here, I could see the sides of the speakers disappear at the same time. So that's good. But yeah, so now, I think that's centered. Oh, hey, look what made it onto the table finally. So now the issue, can I slide this over so it's my OCD is like it's centered. The problem is I can't bring the box of power over, so I probably can't do that. As long as the sub is centered. However, the sub being here now means it isn't an arc. If it was, you know, 22 feet to the chair, 22 feet to the chair, and 22 feet to the chair, it'd be fine. That sub is now in a straight line. So I probably cut off 2-3 feet from the distance, which I did. So now what I gotta do is I gotta delay this. The same on both, because it's being fed both. If I invert the phase, by the way, it was something cool. If I invert the phase on one side, nothing happens. Because the right side's telling it to go out and the left side's telling it to go in, and it's just sitting still. So I shouldn't damage the thing, it's just fun. So wait, there's a gain here. Why is there gain here? Why are there 2 gains? That's on the output. They've combined it. Oh, I might want to move the gains down and not have them up there. You know what, I'm going to do that too. But first, I'm going to add some milliseconds of delay, which you could do in hundredths of a millisecond. So let's do like a 1.1 millisecond delay. Where's my delay? It's backspace 1.1. So a 1.1 millisecond delay on both. And let me move all the corrections I've got here. So now I'm going to make this negative 1.5. That is on that bass bin set. However, on this, it's -2. So really the bass bins could be brought back up to within a half decibel increment of each other. If I leave this at 0, That's -2, this is -1.5. Leave that at 0, this has to go to plus 0.5. Or I could just make them 0 again, because I literally have been fucking with it, man. All right, let me just convert all these things down, and then we'll keep going. See, that sounds like the subwoofer's playing? But it's not, it's just the bass pins. That's fun. The subwoofer is like, I'm focusing on it, like, is that where the sound's coming from? No. So I removed the inversion from this one, because I literally just inverted both sets of cables on that, so now it doesn't have a bright green, you fucked up. Now there's just, these are wired backwards, where it's the hots and grounds are reversed, which is what phase problems are. Yep, those are wired correctly, and I can know that they're wired in out of phase here. This is, we are, oh, that's toit. Moving the thing made it toit, like a Twigga. By the way, no heat out of any of this, but I'm not really blasting it. So they're just sort of like sitting here. They're like slightly above room temperature, which is not that hot at all. So now we've got the blending of that is what I'm trying to assess, which is those with this. It sounded good with one System of a Down song. Unmute this. Get something with a little more punch. Just listen to it. Does it sound like, can you tell there's 6 things making sound, or does it all sound like one thing? That's what we're listening for. So now I'm gonna start fucking with the listenability of it, which is, okay, we've got all the crossovers blended, we've got all the delays enabled. Now it's like, what's bothering me? And if you're ever having problems with a speaker, and it's like, God, it's just hard to listen to, 5,000 hertz. That's why there's a fucking dot automatically placed at 5,000 hertz. Now the problem with that dot is you could see the way the Q is set. It's affecting all the frequencies down to all the way to fucking 500 and up past 20,000. So that's a 3.5 decibel drop in 5K. I love it. But we're gonna fix the Q now. It's actually 5,120. We're gonna fix the Q, which we just have to touch it, which unfortunately moves it. It's currently set to 0.7, and here's what this Q does. Boop, you can make it as tight as you fucking want. Like 50, a Q of 50 means like you're really, we're gonna make the Q 4, it's not gonna be smooth at all. We're gonna literally bomb it out. It's probably gonna be too much. 4 is like, eh. Someone's using a chainsaw. So let's make it 3. Keep a little bit more smoothness. And I think 3.5 decibels might be too much, depending on, every time you go to touch it, like if I click it, will that do it too? Because that might be better than clicking the thing. So now let's go up to 2.5. I noticed something, that my silver laptop, which is an older laptop, way faster. Like I was literally holding down the button on the same exact thing. I let go. This was at 2, this was at 1.7. It was like, that's a huge, that was like 20% slower it was going through the numbers. Why? You're a GeForce GTX. My best to beat. This is Chaz Jankel's Numb. Real Genius Chaz Jankel Numb, Real Genius OST. And this specific PEQ is not for the whole speaker. I think we can get to those, actually. Wait, am I on number 9 here? Oh, you're doing the 9th one. Okay. Never mind. That's the 9th parametric equalization. I thought there was different things. And it's doing a peak versus low shelf, high shelf, or all pass. All pass just pretty much shuts it off. So we're doing a peak. So we're dipping it down. What does the menu say? So the menu lets us pick between the 4 outputs. So if we wanted to go through and do something else, we wanted to, usually you would fix a bass hump. If the room node was like, you know, the room just makes it really loud at 110 hertz, and you would just dip that down. So usually you want to subtract things, you don't want to add too much. But yeah, no, so that's my only like little frequency tweak on the treble right now. And I've listened to 9 seconds of a song, and I haven't even listened to this version because I'm talking to you assholes. So give me a minute, God damn it, let me go back and actually try to enjoy this. And you could adjust the frequency. Here's another thing. If I would use my Flyric, which I actually have one sitting right there, and get a remote control and just program up, down, left, right, actually I could get 2 Flyric. Oh,
Oh. Get 2 FLIRs, random remote, program both FLIRs so that up, down, left, right. Then I could just select the thing I want to select and then just be doot, 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 but holding it would be different speeds, which is the only problem. But then you could take like this 5,000, look, I'm just slide it on over. Slide it anywhere you want to slide it. And this would actually come in handy now because maybe the peak that's bothering me isn't 5,120. Maybe it's somewhere else. I would find the song that shows it off the best, or the worst, I should say, and then just gently nudge that dip over until it's like, okay, now I don't hear it anymore. Then keep going. Oh, too far, go back. Ah, that's what we're gonna find. That's how you win it. That's how you beat these guys. So let me go back to 5,120 because it was just convenient. And then stop recording and listen to some more music. I'm gonna shut off Rush. You know, I just realized that one of the reasons I wanted to do this whole DSP thing in the first place is from a sitting position there, when your head is here, you are closer to these than that. That is taking longer to get to you than these are, which means you have to delay these. So we got to add some delay to the bass spins. I'm happy with that little tweak. You know, I might go back and fucking turn it off. I might tweak it a little bit, but I'm pretty fucking satisfied with just, if you make a change and you kind of don't notice it, it means you haven't removed anything you're missing, especially when you do like 5 or 6 songs. But when you get to a song that's like painful, then you go back and assess. So right now I'm leaving it alone. Look at this, nothing's inverted. All the gains have been adjusted down here now. So that has zeros across the board, and this has 0.5, 0.5, and 2. So we're actually adding to the tweeter on that side 2 dB, which is quite a bit, but I'm just gonna put that towards a unit variation. I actually was hanging out with the guys who use these speakers for their band. They're a fucking heavy metal band. Like, they used to destroy these. The fact that they still function is a miracle. So a 2 decibel difference between left and right is like, oh no, quick, call the Audiophile Society. It's like, ha, you're lucky there isn't just beer bottles inside them. That's why the grills are there, not to protect the drivers, keep people from using it as a trash bin. So what I'm gonna do now, and the way we did this is output 1, and I could rename these outputs, I believe, if I click it. Can I erase output 1? I totally can. So this is sub out R. Oh, it's so easy now. Bass bin R. And then we have mid range R. This way I know, I'm labeling them with R because obviously this is the right one. But if I save and load a config, it's gonna be like, oh shit, I fucked up. And then horn R. So what I'm gonna do now, and I gotta do the same on this side, is add a little bit of delay to these, probably a millisecond. Like, not even maybe even half a millisecond. Because when I was doing that thing to check phase, I was here. Here translates to up there. If I just, you know, keep moving away from the center of the speakers, is like, wee. So what I need to do is angle that down with delay. So let me do that. All right, I settled on 0.9 milliseconds, which is like nothing, but it just makes me feel better on the inside. Now, the problem is I added delay to these, and I've already used delay to add that to that, so that matched that. So adding delay to these means I had to stack that 0.9 onto the 2 milliseconds for this, so now it's a 2.9 millisecond delay from both units going into the sub. So, in other words, these I shouldn't have to do much. They're pretty, this could actually be a thing, by the way, because where the sound is being generated from this is actually physically further back, which would mean I'd have to delay this. See, here's the thing, the old software, which is still on this one, might, can I see it? Hold on a second. I don't see it on this one. It was really fucking convenient. It gave you the measurement in centimeters that the delay was affecting. So let's see, biquad calculators, crossovers, system settings, advanced settings. That was under delay and gain. So let's see, yeah. Boom, in meters. So like 0.2 0.1 milliseconds is 0.036 meters distance. That's how fast sound travels in that time. So if I had a laser measurer and I put it on a tripod and I moved it, I could measure the exact laser distance to the, I guess I would go to the cone. I guess to the cone, to the dust cap of the cone. And I could tell you the difference in distance, and then you can calculate out, oh, that's this many meters, hundredths of a meter. And then you would just say, okay, and that would be your delay. So I don't know why the new one doesn't have that. The delay is just 2.9. This was so fucking convenient. Do this again for me. So yeah, let's calculate out. Presumably, like that's maybe this much further back from where, let's say center of this, so not all the way on the rim, not the dust cap, like the halfway point is like here, and that is being generated, not even there, it's being generated further back. So let's say we've got to remove 12 centimeters of, 12 centimeters is what percentage of a meter in decibels? Wow. And then here's the thing, you can't make the sound happen early. So that means if we add a delay, if this is 0, wait a second, if this is 0, one of these speakers needs to have no delay. It'll be you. You're the most forward. Unless, wait, we have to delay you because you're doing a thing. But usually it's calculated out into the design of the speaker build. So you would be the one that has to have the delay added to it, which means I'd have to add a delay back to this, which has to add a delay back to that because it's all stacking. Now we're getting into the fucking nitty gritty patitty. Po-titty. Here, I'll just take a fucking wild stab at it. Wow, how many meters is that? 0.05 meters. So 1/10 of a meter is a decimeter, that's 10. So I said a little bit more than that, right? So 0.12 meters is a 0.37 millisecond delay. So we need to add a 0.37 or 0.4 millisecond delay to the mid-range, which we could easily do 0.374, 0.37. We're gonna add a 0.37. We're not sick in the head at all. To the mid-range, 0.37. There we go. So now that's delayed, but now we've got to add that 0.37 to the bass spins. So we're at 0.9. So that's going to be 1.27. From 0.9 to 1.27. Enter, enter. And now we've got to add it also to the sub. So we're adding 0.37 to 2.9 becomes 3.27. 327. It's a good Chevy motor. We're all good here. This is not actually, I doubt if we turned all this off, I'd be able to say like, oh, something's definitely wrong. It's just like, I know how sound works and I know how insistently fucking annoying it is. So yeah, so now I had the tweeter and the sub muted to sort of figure out the height. So now I can just unmute all of this because obviously now it's perfect. Now we're ready to listen to Billie Eilish and probably shake the, this is where they break something. I'm gonna lower it, the master here because I had it up.
Good sex fortune.
Never understood. I would love to play this for you. Because, well, I need to move. Billie Eilish will nut me, but not in the good way, in the bad way. Yeah, they're about the same. I'm looking at the RMS meters. Let me go enjoy Billie Eilish and see if any of those little changes, those little microscopic 0.37 millisecond, 0.127 0.32. This one actually might need more now that I have the calculator actually, by the way. Because I'm assuming from that sweep, it's like 4 feet. So let's just go to 7 millisecond delay is 2 meters. So I need like a 5 millisecond delay is exactly 5.99 is exactly 2 meters. So 4 millisecond delay is 1.72 meters. Okay. Okay. 5 milliseconds is 1.72, 4.5 milliseconds. I may have to adjust. Well, look at where the sub is now, 3.27. But it needs to be from those bass bins that amount lower. So let's take the sub out on both sides. And instead of, we've already got 2, so we're gonna add another 2. We're gonna go to 5.27. There we go. Calculators are wonderful. So now we have, and obviously this is not calculated for here, so get the fuck out of here. Oh. So here's an interesting thing. So I kept moving the chair, because I'm like, it sounds better here and here and here. And then I moved the chair a little bit closer, and then I sat down, and then I stood up, and then I sat down, and I hovered my ass about a foot off because it was perfect. And then I started sliding backwards, lowering myself, because there's so much distance. And one of the things I wanted to fix with this, which actually, you know what? I have a good question. The old software limited the milliseconds of delay to 7. Hold on. The horns have no delay. I'm just going to see if I could add, let's see what the highest number I could add. 80. Are you serious? 80 milliseconds without a hardware change? I got to see what that sounds like, if it'll actually do it. Because one of the things I wanted to do, you can type 999, makes it 80. Oh God. God, I could fucking hear it from here. The horns are like, the horns are happening tomorrow. What I wanted to do is try to squish this down. 80 milliseconds is like, I could put a pair of speakers. Will it even calculate that? Hold on. Let's go to 5. 5 milliseconds is 1.72 meters. 80 goes into 5 how many times? 80 milliseconds instead of 5. Hold on. Echo, 80 divided by 5.
80 divided by 5 is 16.
Echo, 16 times 1.72.
16 times 1.72 is 27.52.
27 meters. It'll adjust delay for 27 meters. Echo, 27.2 meters in feet.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Echo, what is 27.2 meters in feet?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Dude, bullshit, you fucking do. Echo, 27.2 meters in yards.
I don't have an answer for that.
Wow, I will not use the fucking metric system for long distances. I want to do millimeters and shit, that's fine. Whatever, 27 meters is a fucking lot. Times 3.3, isn't it 0.3? A lot. So I could have a speaker play there and a speaker play here, and you could time them to just come out at the same time. That's fucking bizarre. That's bizarro Stormy. I'm regular Stormy. Let me take away that. Anyway, so one of my goals, what I was trying to fucking say, by the way, you can't just hit backspace and enter, it puts it to 1 or -1. You have to hit backspace, then enter 0, and then hit enter, have it to be 0. I'd like to put this speaker in front of these bass bins. Like physically mount it like boom. So the horn would be here, mid-range here. So you can sort of compress this into like a smaller box. Because right now it's a big box. I mean, I'm 6 feet tall. And there you go. That's where I am. So this center of the speaker is 6.3 feet above the ground, and those are at my knees. So there's so much space. The more compact you get it, like a coaxial speaker, ask Kef about this, the better you can align everything. But if I can't just push it, I can't just no clip this into this, it's not Gary's mod. But if I brought this forward and brought it down, and then delayed everything coming out of this to match that, it would be perfect and cohesive. In fact, I could even do it. I could just take a fucking stupid little stool like this,
plop it down, pick speaker up, drop it, go on that and be like milliseconds. And then you wouldn't have a towering speaker, but you'd have a very focal clusterfuck of speaker coming right at you. That would have prevented, so when I'm standing up and sitting down, I don't hear the length of the beams shifting, the beam forming. It's fun. Audio is fun. And this is not expensive audio. This is literally the cheapest fucking fun you could have. I mean, I spent $1,200 on these giant towers. That was a fucking godsend. The guy, actually, it's not a godsend. The guy had health issues, which you need to sell it for. But $1,200 for these, I'm sure you can get them cheap. They're in great shape as far as like there's no nicks and cuts. I mean, it's carpet, so how bad can it get? The amps are Fosse's. Go ahead. I dare you to find cheaper amplifiers that'll push these to this level of this clarity. The mini DSPs are now expensive. They used to be under $250, now they're $250, so it's $500 for the mini DSPs. That's it. That's literally all the expense. $1,200. Let's call these at $100 a piece, even though they're not. So that's $1,600. Interconnects $1,700. If you buy Amazon Basics, another $100. And then mini DSPs. So $2,200. This is a $2,200 sound system. Oh, plus there's a $1,000 sub, which I got for $500. Under $3,000. Let's just call it under $3,000 total. Which is $3,000's a lot, but holy fuck. Anyway, I'm gonna continue to hammer this. Video's, I could just keep bitching and moaning. This might be up too loud. Anyway, I'm gonna play now. Just play. Thank you for coming by the second channel. When I'm done, and this has a cohesive fucking thought process, big channel video, where I'm probably gonna start it out here, and then you're gonna wake up, midway video, and they're gonna be in my fucking basement, because it's about to be real cold, boys. Real cold. Them Pennsylvania winters are not kind. There we go. So I build brackets to hold these straighter and put them right on top, or do the thing where I put them in front and then put them in my basement for my home theaters left and right, because you know what? I feel like heresies are just underutilized there. These will be better.